Welcome to part 2 of our comprehensive overview of our online and interactive virtual training programs here at Synergy Learning Systems. We created this video as part 2 of our long-form videos to share what many potential clients have asked for. First, in part 1 of this 2-part series, we provided a program overview or product demonstration of our 3 comprehensive virtual training programs and how they work in our online virtual learning system. For even more detailed information and insights regarding the specific processes, content, and strategies contained within our CSR, tech, and sales programs, simply visit the programs page on our website. Here, in part 2 of this 2-part series, we'll be reviewing the specific investment options for our interactive virtual learning system. Many of the potential clients that have been referred to us by others have asked us if we could provide a comprehensive video overview. So, in addition to creating that in part 1, we created this video to illustrate how the virtual program investment works as well. So if you're watching this video and you were not required to speak to someone at our organization simply to learn what our investment options are, we have many of our previous satisfied clients to thank. As we mentioned in part 1, one of the things that we make a habit of around here is the implementation of a strategy known as they ask, we answer. So here we go. One of the most important questions we receive most often is, how much is it? Here we'll be providing in-depth answers to that question and more. Suffice it to say, we've created a powerful online learning system that our clients have found to be surprisingly affordable. As we work to finish up 52 weekly coaching sessions that help our clients to work towards a 1-year path to mastery through ongoing, consistent training for the entire team and each individual department, our programs are in what we're referring to as our pre-launch pricing or investment model. This simply means that there is currently a substantial savings available, and the organizations that get started now will be grandfathered in for all time at the pre-launch savings that we're offering currently. So, how much is it? The short answer is we currently offer a range of investment options from $250 per week for smaller companies up to $450 per week for larger companies. And that's all inclusive for the entire company. This investment is for a 1-year program, comprehensive and customized program for a minimum of 52 weeks. This includes comprehensive core programs for the call center, professional service technicians, and sales design consultants. That's right, you heard me correctly. The investment ranges from $250 per week for all 3 programs up to $450 per week, depending on the size of your company. The only additional one-time investment required will be for the customized workbooks that are designed to be used step by step throughout the entire 1-year program. The number of workbooks your organization will need will be dependent upon the number of team members you have in the program. We'll share more about this one-time investment and our robust 250-plus page participant workbooks in just a bit. Just so there are no surprises, the investment for these is a flat rate, $100 per participant. That's the short answer, and that is simply our cost to print them in full color with spiral binds with clear plastic covers so that they are built to last, and to package them up and ship them. We're not looking to make money on printing, so this $100 amount is simply a pass-through cost of goods sold. We do highly recommend them for each participant, so we'll share how all of that works in greater detail in just a moment. First, let's examine the weekly subscription more closely, because we here at Synergy, we're no different than anyone else, and we wouldn't want to blindly make a 1-year commitment, especially if we weren't rather confident something was a good fit for us or not. We decided to remove all risk for all potential clients as well. We've accomplished this by offering a 4-week test drive of our virtual learning system with a risk-free, get your entire investment back guarantee. This means there truly is absolutely no risk to get started. We're not talking about sampling just a part of the program. During this 4-week test drive, we're making the entire program available to our clients' entire team in unlimited fashion. Not just ownership or only the members of the leadership. We're setting up the entire account during this test drive. We provide usernames and passwords to every single person, providing every team member the ability to watch the entire program, including every single role play. If a team were so inclined, they could watch the entire program. In fact, all 3 of them in just a matter of days for a few $100. We believe in being straight shooters around here. No gimmicks. We believe the magic of what we've created goes far beyond watching our content just one time. Science is sharing with us that our brains only retain 7 to 10% of what we see and hear the first time. We believe repetition and ongoing training will be the key. We believe it's much more about the comprehensive foundations that we've created, plus the 1-year path to mastery that sets us apart from anything else and anything that's ever been created in the industry before. So let's dive even deeper and talk specific dollars and cents. Weekly investments are based on a sliding scale determined by the size of the company enrolling in the program. The specific breakdown for the investment is $250 per week for companies with 1 to 49 team members. The standard investment rate, once we're out of our pre-launch phase, will be $576.92 per week, or $30,000 per year for all 3 comprehensive programs, for a company with 49 team members or less. For companies with a total of 50 to 99 team members, the pre-launch investment rate is $350 per week and will be $807.69 per week, or $42,000 per year for all 3 programs. And for companies with 100 or more total team members, the investment is $450 per week during our pre-launch and will be $1,038.46 per week, or $54,000 per year for all 3 programs. It really is that simple. Now, to summarize, the only investment that needs to be taken into account right now is $250 per week if your company has 49 total team members or less, $350 per week if it's 50 to 99 team members, and $450 per week if your company has more than 100 team members. If you're a person who requires the minimal amount of information and just happens to be a cut to the chase kind of person, more power to you. You are likely to now have enough information to make a decision on price and price alone. But as we all know, especially those of us in the trades, price isn't the only thing that matters. Most of us are absolutely sick of customers trying to size up our company and our products and our services based on price and price alone. So if that's also you, Karma would suggest we invest a few more minutes here together to share and gather some additional details. And if we're placing bets around here, we believe we'll all be glad that we did. While we believe there's a lot more to consider, rest assured, there's also no other hidden charges or fees or prices or gotchas. All 3 customized programs, CSR Tech and Sales, all on video, thousands of micro-learning videos, hundreds of complete high-definition role plays, complete reporting and accountability, usernames and passwords for your entire team, unlimited viewing and learning, the ability to repeat every video, every role play and process as often as each team member would like. When you register for 1 year during our pre-launch, they're all grandfathered in for all time, and it's simply $250 to $450 per week. Now, there are currently 3 individual lifetime content licenses that we are including for free when a client registers during our pre-launch that are theirs to keep forever. This is our thank you to you for being an early adopter. These 3 lifetime content licenses, once we've wrapped up our pre-launch phase, will begin to require a standard investment of $5,000 each. That means that an organization who registers now during our pre-launch is going to receive $15,000 in value immediately, absolutely free. Our pre-launch weekly investment model represents roughly 60% off from our standard investment rates. And we're financing the annual investment in the program with our 1-year path to mastery with 52 equal weekly investments. We don't aim to be the cheap option for your business, but we do intend to do whatever it takes to deliver the overall most value, delivering a powerfully systematic, comprehensive, and ongoing implementation process. And not just for ownership, and not just for leadership, but for seamless integration for every single person on your entire team across every department in your business. And to do it consistently so that it actually gets implemented into your business, driving the results that you desire. In fact, we're curious what you might believe having unlimited, fully customized, comprehensive, award-winning content that's been proven to work in the contracting business for your call center, your technicians, and your sales team might be worth. And before you decide on your final answer, we'd like to ask you this. What if you were to hire me full-time to take on the role of training manager in your business, as well as assistant to your office manager, assistant to your service manager, and assistant to your sales manager? What might you estimate that could be worth? Especially if I were really, really good. What kind of an annual investment would be required? $500,000 per year? $250,000 per year? $50,000 per year? $10,000 per year? What if the expected return on investment were guaranteed? Would each of those roles in sales, service, and your call center be worth at least $20,000 per year? $20,000 per year divided by 52 weeks works out to be $384 per week. So the question becomes, would you invest $384 per week in a training manager that never sleeps, that never gets sick, that never has an off day or takes a day off, and never has a bad attitude? A training manager who trains your team consistently and can ride to each call every day with every tech, role-playing each of the processes perfectly, inspiring and refocusing each of them each time before they arrive. What if the training manager had already grown 2 of their own contracting businesses? Maybe won Lennox Partner of the Year twice, had already trained 1,000 other small business owners and more than 7,000 blue-collar tradesmen to influence with integrity. What if they had worked with call centers to schedule over 10,000 service calls and sales leads and had refined their own processes for the better part of 2 decades? What if they'd won national training awards with the largest network of premier contractors in the nation and had built all of their processes on high service instead of high pressure? Would you invest in a $20,000 per year assistant office manager, a $20,000 a year assistant service manager, and a $20,000 assistant sales manager, all equating to $384 per week apiece? Would you invest $384 per week to have someone available to your team 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, engaging with your team, inspiring your team, and quizzing your team, and reporting back on each team member's progress at any given moment? Would you do it if your training manager never showed up late, or called out sick, or went on vacation, or required health insurance or a company car? What if this training manager were actually a tax write-off and didn't require any matching payroll tax, and actually reduced your overall taxable income? A $20,000 investment in each of these roles equates to $80,000 per year. And $80,000 per year divided by 52 weeks is actually $1,538 per week. Now, I am not going to stand here and act like our programs and Getting workbooks for your entire team is not a significant investment for some companies, because it can be. Compared to the return on investment, however, and the benefit of consistent training in our business, it's a fraction of what we're investing in other areas to run our business. As one of my contracting businesses began to rapidly expand, I remember purchasing 3 Dodge Ram ProMaster vans, new off the lot, on a single trip to the dealership one day. At the time, roughly $40,000 each, and another $3,500 for custom shelving in each of them. Another $12,000 for inventory, another $3,500 each for professional truck wraps. I think another $600 each in monthly payments, and another $200 each per month in vehicle insurance. That's a lot. If my math serves me correctly, that's somewhere right around $60,000 just to put one more truck on the road. And it was also 3 more vehicles to put in the maintenance rotation, to replace the tires on every year or two, to replace the windshields on, to replace the brakes on, and none of this accounts for the $50,000 to $100,000 plus per year tech to fill the driver's side seat 5 days a week, to recruit, hire, train, and retrain them. Or all the tools, or vacuum pumps, or refrigeration tanks, or sawzalls or hole saws that may have been needed to get them started, or at the very least, tool accounts, or iPads or health insurance, or matching 401ks, or 2 weeks of vacation, or moving expenses, or buying out their old contract at the old place, and anything and everything else that was going to be required to put just one more van on the road. But I knew one thing. If I was going to take all that risk and invest all that capital and all those resources, I sure as heck was going to train them. Every day, every week, every meeting. There would be a plan, there would be expectations, and there would be accountability. And it certainly worked, time and time again. Make no mistake, it was a tremendous amount of work. And if I didn't love the training side of this business, or if I didn't know how to do it, or what to do, or if I knew but I just didn't have the time to do it, the first thing I would have done would have been to hire a training manager. My company had me, so there was no need for that. I mean, I absolutely live for this stuff. I listen to hours of personal development, sales, and influence content every day. And no one has to pay me to do it or ask me to do it. I just absolutely love it. I love creating and planning for team meetings and training assignments. I love refining and mastering sales processes. And I love the challenge of doing it without ever being high pressure or sleazy. And while there may have not been a necessity to hire a training manager to work on those things in my own business, there certainly was a need for a service manager, an install manager, a finance manager, and a warehouse manager. So we hired those, and I handled 100% of all the other things training related. Well, outside of the technical side, of course. We had our technical gurus for that. Now that we've outlined how the individual lifetime content license investments will work, and how they are all included for free during our pre-launch, and how our weekly subscription works, let's chat about how our risk-free guarantee works, and how our comprehensive workbooks play a role in the risk-free 4-week test drive. The first thing we'd like to share is 3 distinct risk-free options each of our new clients have when they get registered. First, let's assume a client registers for our virtual program and begins making the weekly investment. This means they've committed to a 1-year partnership with us. They've committed to a 52-week path to mastery. And they've decided with the best of intention to implement our program for the next year, as long as the program is as good as our clients say it is, and as good as we guarantee it is, and as long as it aligns with their core values, and it's built on high service, and it helps them to serve their marketplace and to serve their team just as we have promised. Let's say we immediately onboard their company and we set up their account within a matter of days with all of their usernames and passwords. They begin to watch the content. They love it. They think this is exactly what their team has been missing. They're entertained and they're engaged. They can see a path to mastery for every department and every individual in their entire organization. They begin to have their team log in. They begin to implement our weekly Synergy sessions. And then the internet goes out in their town, never to return. All cell phones are confiscated by the federal government. The power supply is cut off to the region of the country that they're in, and it simply becomes impossible for them to utilize the program. Their investment is risk-free, and they will not be bound by some crazy agreement. Or let's just say something a little more realistic happened, and that they decide the content is great and the program would work if their team had implemented even a fraction of it. But their team refuses to watch it for whatever reason. For whatever reason, this company allows their team to make that decision. Then they can simply cancel the annual agreement anytime during their risk-free 4-week test drive, and we will no longer charge the weekly investment to their card. During their test drive, they feel we held up our end of the bargain, and all the videos played, and all the buttons worked, and all the reporting worked. The weekly Synergy sessions were delivered as agreed. The content was built on principles of integrity. Essentially, they believe they received great value for the investment that was made, albeit for a short time. It just didn't work out. Hey, no harm, no foul. It's just not a good fit for them, their company, or maybe their team. Maybe it was just bad timing. Either way, we part ways as friends. Now, when we run into each other at an expo or a conference, we don't have to avoid each other. There's no hard feelings. Maybe we work together in the future. Maybe we never do. Either way, we can be friends and shoot the breeze, see what one another's been up to. That was the first of 3 options of how the risk-free 4-week test drive works. Now, option 2. Let's say they register for our virtual program and begin making the weekly investment. Nothing of what was described just a moment ago takes place as was outlined, or in the entire overview, or what their friends said, or what their distributor or territory manager said, or what some of the world's largest manufacturers are saying, or what the trade groups or buying groups have said, or what all of our individual testimonials have said. In fact, they feel like they must have logged into the wrong website or something. This is the worst content they've ever seen, and the delivery method may be even worse. What have all of these people been smoking? They begin to think, there's no way this guy ever owned a business, or built a contracting company, or hired a technician, or worked with a CSR, or trained, hired, or held a sales team accountable, let alone won national awards with some of the largest international equipment manufacturers. I mean, none of the buttons on the site work, the videos won't play, there's no production value, no entertainment, engagement, interactivity, or accountability. There's no quizzes, there's no actual role plays, the reporting structure is suspect at best, or perhaps even non-existent. Maybe they'd even been better off hiring a yoga instructor to work with their team. Or maybe no one and nothing at all would be better than this. If any or all of this is the case, and they don't feel there was any value created, and that there was nothing of potential value to them or their team, not only will we cancel their 1-year agreement, we'll refund them 100% of the amount they invested during their 4-week test drive. No harm, no foul. This was definitely not a good fit for them, their company, and most definitely not for their team. Maybe it was just bad timing, as in the timing will never be right. And that's okay. We can still part ways as friends. They'll get 100% of their money back, and they won't have lost a dime in the process. Now, when we run into each other at an expo or a conference, we don't have to avoid each other. There's no hard feelings. If we're willing to offer a risk-free guarantee, it's our job to deliver the value. And if we're unable to do that here at Synergy, then that's on us, not the client. We live by a code of 100% personal responsibility around here. And if we don't deliver the goods and didn't fulfill the promises we made, then we would want the client to have their money back. That's simply good business. And that's how we believe business should be done. Now, option 3. Let's say this new client registers for our virtual program and begins to make the weekly investment. At any time from the moment they decide to register for our programs through the first 30 days in the program, as soon as they see the value or become convinced that our programs are exactly as described, they can waive their 4-week test drive and order their comprehensive workbooks for themselves and their team. We simply require the business principal to complete a confirmation of commitment. The confirmation of commitment confirms that we have agreed to partner for an entire year. No cancellations, no refunds, no chargebacks. We are in this together for the long haul. We're making a commitment to one another. Our comprehensive 250+ page workbooks represent our organization's intellectual property that we've been working to refine for the better part of 30+ years. These workbooks, as we mentioned previously, at our cost to print and ship, are $100 each. As a training organization, we're in the intellectual property business. And our intellectual property happens to not only be highly customized, it's also proven in the real world, and it's award-winning many times over. It's one thing for us to provide unlimited access to the content in this video format. It's an entirely different thing to print and ship all of our proprietary content in print. Plus, the idea of potentially printing and shipping workbooks only to then try to have our clients collect them from their team, account for them, and then go through the trouble of shipping them back to us, that would truly be a nightmare. Not to mention, we would never provide another client with a used workbook. So any returned workbook would have been rendered unusable to us at that point. The simple solution that we've decided on in our business model is that we provide a risk-free test drive in unlimited fashion for an entire month. And at any time during that time frame, once a client is ready to move forward with our 1-year path to mastery, we'll send out a confirmation of commitment. And once complete, this will provide us the opportunity to go to print with workbooks for as many of the client's team members that they desire. We currently offer fully customized and comprehensive workbooks for the call center, professional technicians, and design consultants. And each of them has been fully customized for the trades of HVAC and plumbing. Now, please do not mistake our 4-week test drive or the confirmation of commitment, and therefore our policy on not printing and sending out workbooks, as a sign that they are not important. In fact, it is quite the opposite. We believe the customized workbooks are absolutely vital to implementing our programs. These workbooks, as I mentioned, contain over 250 pages total, and 150 pages of that is word-for-word content and scripting that matches up precisely with the role plays in our virtual learning system. That's right. Every single role play in our virtual learning system is contained in written format in comprehensive fashion with a very specific layout that is conducive to studying, to implementation, and to mastery. The workbooks contain exercises, both individual and group, that will be referred to and expanded upon repeatedly throughout our 52 weekly Synergy sessions. The workbooks follow along with our entire core training as well, with images, slides, and reference points that will enable rapid implementation. To be honest, I can't even imagine going through our virtual program completely without one. In fact, our virtual learning system was not designed to be experienced without them. Throughout the program, we reference completing the exercises in the workbook. The workbooks are vital to the success in the implementation of our program. I would encourage anyone who is considering joining our virtual programs to commit to ordering workbooks for each of their team members once they've decided to make the commitment to join us for a year. We feel so strongly about this, we would not allow a participant to attend one of our live events if they did not have a workbook in front of them. If a potential client was not interested in making the investment in the printed materials, we would be forced to turn away that training or speaking engagement. Suffice it to say that our participant materials have been carefully crafted and designed to create the learning experience that we've perfected. If we've not yet driven home the importance of each virtual participant having their very own workbook as they immerse themselves in our programs, we'll wrap up this topic by stating this. If there were a potential client that decided they were not going to invest in workbooks for their team, we would simply say that this is not likely the program that is going to be a good fit for them. The weekly investment is so incredibly affordable. If an organization is not willing to invest in the materials that are designed for the entire core program and the 52 weekly coaching sessions, this program is likely not the right solution. These workbooks contain 30 years of customized content, and it is my life's work. It represents sacrifice, study, preparation, and commitment. It represents thoughtfulness, testing, trials, and refinements. It represents 14-hour days for years on end. It represents early mornings and late nights. It represents weekends and missed sporting events, and quite frankly, so much more. Overall, the workbooks and this entire program represent an unwavering commitment to excellence. It is incredibly detailed. It is a PhD and a doctorate in the art of effective communication and persuasion, all rolled into one. It is specialized and intricately customized. There is nothing like it. It is built to solve the challenge of implementation, but it is not meant to be piecemeal. And for the right client, what I've just shared over the last few minutes has excited you. And for the wrong client, you're ready to push stop. We know a surefire way to fail is to try to be all things to all people. We are not for everyone. We are for the stone-cold professional that is sick and tired of investing in programs that end up wasting away on some shelf somewhere. If you're ready to put an end to that frustration and that disappointment and those training dollars squandered, you've come to the right place. If money is tight because your team hasn't been selling at good margins, you've come to the right place. If you're robbing Peter to pay Paul and you're scraping by to make payroll, you've come to the right place. If you're sick of other companies in your town taking your work at twice your price, you've come to the right place. If you're financing your company on home equity loans and credit cards, you've come to the right place. If you've burned through your savings, but your dream is still alive, you've come to the right place. Perhaps if your cash flow is great, but you're simply tired of investing in training that fizzles just as fast as it got started, then you've come to the right place. If you're overwhelmed and tired of not having time to put together training and lesson plans to move the needle in the right direction consistently each and every week, then you've come to the right place. Success is a commitment. Excellence is a commitment, and greatness is a commitment. And none of that happens overnight. Success is hard, and closing up shop is even harder. Training is hard, and the challenges of having an untrained team is even harder. It's all hard. We must choose our hard. If we continue to do what we've always done, we'll continue to get what we've always got. But if we find someone who has built what we want and we do what they do, we'll get what they've got. And we've built the vehicle for our fellow business owners. The door is open. The engine is finely tuned. Perhaps now is the time to get in and drive. We would be honored to serve you and your team, both now and long into the future, and help you and your team to solve the challenge of implementation.